doing something really important. I'm really glad you're doing this.
Yes. And Mr. Brown, I'm going to have you, if that's okay, sit right over here.
Sure, just show me where am I sitting.
Mrs. Marati, you're set up to, you have a little desk right here. Whichever
You're sitting in the naughty corner.
Okay. Okay.
All right, so I might get started. I know this. Oh, here comes Miss Marati. I love how it's a little tricky because I know art and facts flip. So often it's interesting how I answer to Mrs. Marati a lot, but Miss Morilla and Miss Marati, they both have that MOR sounds, right? So, all right, so we're going to begin. Okay, so today's aim is I want you all to see if you can guess how much water you can hold in each bucket. So we've got bucket 1, bucket 2, and bucket 3. Okay, so this is the aim. What you're gonna do is you're gonna flip over your piece of paper. Now apologies, the Post-its are, color copier is a little tired, so the colors don't match, but follow the numbers, 1, 2, 3. So you're gonna take a look and see how much water, how many gallons do you think you can get into this bucket? How many gallons? A gallon is, good question. All right, so let me show you something here, Vivian. Has anyone ever seen one of these?
Yes.
Okay, so this is 1 gallon right here. Okay? All right, so try and see, come up with a number for each one. So we've got bucket 1, 2, and 3. I'll give you about a minute to see. And you might have some of these at home. It might look like the shape might look like something that you've seen at home. Okay, is everybody ready?
Yeah.
All right, can everybody hold up their papers so I can see? All right, we have Vivian's going for 1.2 for bucket number 1. Let's see, I see a lot of 1s. They've got 3 on bucket number 1. Maeve's changing her answer. Harini has 3 gallons. Okay, all right. How about bucket number 2? We have 1.5, 5 gallons for bucket 2. I see, we've got Das, 2 in this row, 1.5, 2, and then we've got 8 with Nate in the back. All right, and can I see bucket number 3? Okay, people are kind of second guessing, changing answers a little bit. Bucket number 3 is the biggest bucket here. So I see 4, 17, wow, Nate, 6, 7, 4, and Maeve is going for 8 gallons, 2 gallons. Okay. In this very pretty envelope, I have the answers. Okay, can everybody give me a drum roll, please? Okay, all right. So in bucket number 1, we have 1 gallon.
I guessed
Who got it right? Raise your hand.
I didn't know it correctly.
Okay, what does bucket number 1 look like to you?
1 gallon.
What does it look like? Anything in your house?
Pink bucket.
Very good, a paint bucket, right? So this is 1 gallon. This would hold 1 gallon of water right here. All right, so let's go for bucket number 2. Drum roll, please. The answer is on the bucket. What do you think it is? 2. Who got it right? Raise your hand. Okay. All right, semi-Grace, you're okay in the range. All right. And then lastly, bucket number 3. What do you think, Ion? Hold it up in your hand. Let me see everybody.
What we put? I can't hold that.
You can't hold. Did you guess 17? How many did you guess? 17. Okay, so bucket number 3 is a 5-gallon bucket. Raise your hand if you got it right. It's okay, Nate. It looks, sometimes it can be a little tricky, right? Okay. Now you're probably asking yourself, why is Mrs. Morilla asking me how much water can be held in these buckets, right? Why do you think?
Because bucket 2, I mean, we use these buckets like a lot, and we don't really like realize how much gallons we're using up when we're pouring like those buckets.
Ooh,
And also, when
interesting.
we fill it up, we usually spill a little.
Yeah. Sometimes it splashes over, it's true. So that was great though. I like where you're going with this, Eric. So the reason why I wanted to show you this is so that you can get a gauge on how many gallons, what a gallon looks like. There's 1 gallon, 2 gallons, 5 gallons, just like that. And today we are actually going to be talking a little bit about water conservation in the Facts Kitchen. I thought we could explore and kind of talk about and see what our water footprint is. So, has anyone ever wondered how much water I'm using when I wash dishes? Who raise your hand if you wash dishes at home? Anybody? Oh, your parents semi, some. I love it. I love that some people are not so much me, a little bit. Mr. Brown does, Mrs. Marati, I know she does. Moms and dads, it's part of our job, but I love when kids get involved too. So, washing dishes, how many gallons do you think it takes to wash your breakfast dishes?
8.
What do you think? Layla?
Maybe like 2 or 3.
2 or 3 gallons? Okay, I guess it depends on how many dishes, right? Yes?
Like, a normal would be like 1 to 2 gallons.
So you're kind of using this bucket here,
Yeah.
you think? Okay, all right. Sophia?
Maybe like 1.5 or something.
1.5, Vivian?
3 or 4.
3 or 4? Now, Maeve, can you tell me, how about dinner? What do you think for dinner?
I'm gonna say 5 because the plates are probably more dirtier, and also sometimes there's people that wash their dishes that keep the water on while they're going to grab other plates.
Yeah, that's true. People have different methods of washing dishes. I was talking to Mr. Brown about whether you keep it running and you let it stream, you turn it on or off.
If you like make dinner, like you might need like different like pots, pans, knives.
True, very true. Sometimes you've got so many utensils, you've got your pots and pans. Yes?
Sometimes, if you want like the water to be warm, so you have to let it run if it's on cold water.
Excellent. I like where you guys are going, where you're thinking through all these different scenarios. Yes, like,
Kind of depends how much time you take to wash the dishes and how much water you use. Because sometimes my dad lets it run while he's grabbing other dishes and drying them.
yeah. So think about it, sometimes it's true. And sometimes, this might happen where you're like, washing the dishes, then you walk away, you're in the sink, then you're going over here, and then you come back, right? Everybody does that probably, you've seen your mom, dad, maybe you've done that. So these are all good scenarios. That's interesting. Yes, me. Yes. And there's the path. Oh, and yes, Mr. Brown.
I also think some people run the water harder during dishwashing and some run it a little softer.
Yeah, midstream, you might do it like drip drip, you might do it
Versus
full
full power and it's gushing out the whole time versus half power.
full power. Yeah, my husband does full power too. Yes.
There's this thing that's supposed to be for dishwashing and I use it. I have this like pressure washer, but it's not actually gonna break the plates. It's just like a soft pressure washer, so it just gets the dishes done quicker.
Wow, that's actually great. I love.
Like I do it full power because I think like it would be the same if you did it soft power, but then it would just take longer. So full power, it would let you do it quicker. So I think you'd be spending about the same amount of water.
Interesting. These are all interesting, different scenarios that you're thinking through. Like power washing the house, right? Trying to get everything off really quick. Okay, so so who can tell me, what does water conservation mean? Vivian.
Saving water.
Saving water. Anybody else? Water conservation, any other answers? How about sustainably? How can you do things sustainably? What would sustain? The word sustain is there. And remember yesterday or 2 days ago, we talked about my FAST mantra, focus on sustainability in this classroom. What does it mean when we're doing something sustainably? Yes?
Not wasting resources or using more than we need.
Yeah, exactly. So these are all things to think about when we're using resources in the kitchen, at home, maybe in the fax room. So let's see, can I please have Sophia, can you read water conservation for me?
So, water conservation is policies, strategies, and activities aimed at sustainably managing the natural resource of fresh water.
Perfect. Do we have an unlimited supply of water?
No.
No? So, what was that? I'm sorry?
Water doesn't really run out. It's just nowadays people filter it and send it back to different places.
Right.
So, and basically the world actually can't run out of water.
You think maybe not? Well, you know what's funny? Eric, my father-in-law is a civil engineer, and he focuses on water treatment plants and things of that nature. So he knows a lot about recycling water and things like that. So we've come up with so many different technologies and advancements on, running water and recycling it and all of that. So that is definitely something. But if we want super, super clean water, we have to be really careful about how much we use and the chemicals that we put into that water sometimes. So those are things to consider. Okay, who can tell me sustainably? What does that, do you want to read that one?
In a way that avoids the
Please.
depletion of natural resources in order to maintain an ecological balance.
Perfect, good. Now May just used the bathroom, but have you ever noticed on my bathroom passes here, what does it say?
Conserve water.
Good. Who can read this for me? Madison? Every drop counts. So I try and keep it like top of mind in my room and like as we're in and out. Yes, May.
And we only have so much water in the world because there's oceans and there's also like pollution problems, trash in the water, that people are just doing that and stuff about like the water and saving water, so it's hard to save your water.
Yeah, it's true. Clean water is a precious commodity here. Okay, we're gonna keep going. So what's on Monday?
Earth Day.
Earth Day. Okay, so in honor of Earth Day, I thought maybe we could consider and be mindful of our water consumption and just think a little bit. And the way we're gonna do that today is we're gonna do a dishwashing experiment in the class. Okay, so can I first have everyone pass your papers right up to the front here? Perfect, thank you. And same thing there. Layla, if you could be my helper and put them all into a pile, and Harini, if you could put them in a pile. Thank you, pass your pens up.
I'll get the pen.
Are you okay, Dax? Did you lose a shoe? Are you okay? Did you bump?
He cracked my finger.
Oh, all right. Okay, thank you, Dax. Dax is bringing the pens up. All right. So, I'll take those, thank you. Perfect, thank you, Layla, and I'll take all your papers. Perfect. All right. So, we're gonna do a dishwashing experiment in the class, and we're gonna try two different strategies. The first strategy, we're gonna do a 4-step dishwashing process, okay? So, in our 4-step dishwashing process, we're gonna fill, wash, rinse, and dry, okay? Nate, what are we gonna do when we fill?
Add some clean, hot, soapy water, and then drop in the dirty dishes. Use approximately 3 gallons of water to 2
Ounces
of liquid.
with dish soap. Sorry, we got cut off there. So does anybody know how many gallons do you think our sink holds? How many gallons of water if you were to fill that all the way up? Maybe.
Like the sink.
Yes.
Probably
Think about, look at this bucket here. How many,
30.
so, oh, okay, good, yeah. Okay, anybody else? Eric?
Like 12.
12, Dax? 10? Okay, these are all guesses, good guesses. Layla.
I kind of have a strategy. You could maybe put each bucket and try and see how much space it will fill up and to see how many gallons it could hold.
Excellent. I like where she's going with this because you know what? Last night, you know what I did? I filled up the bucket and I poured it in to see how much. So this sink here is a 20-gallon sink. It holds 20 gallons. So how many of those buckets? How many times?
4.
4, good. 4 of those buckets goes into these 2 sinks and this sink here.
That means up to the very top? Is that
Up
right?
to the very top.
Very edge?
Yep, to the top.
Where
Now
you
I
would never
have,
actually put water up to the very edge, right? Because
yeah,
it's gonna spill over.
yeah. And I actually, on all of the sinks have markers on it. So I have 20 gallons at the top. Now, if we were to only add about this much water to the bottom, that's about 2 gallons. There's a marker in the sink.
Oh, yeah.
And then there's a 5-gallon marker on the sink too. Now by Mrs. Murati is my mini sink. How many gallons do you think, who washes their hands over there? Layla, can you tell me how many gallons do you think in there?
Maybe
Look at the buckets.
bucket number 2 in there, it could be like either 8 ounces or 8 gallons, or maybe 4.
Come tell her, well, what's the answer, Nate?
2 gallons.
2 gallons. This one actually is a 2-gallon sink right here, okay? So what's interesting during this dishwashing experiment, we're gonna fill up the sink between the 2 and the 5-gallon mark, so you're around 3 gallons. Now, did you ever know this? This is about 2 ounces of liquid soap right here. So according to Dawn, not that I'm promoting their brand, but I looked it up, this is how much soap you should put in for 3 gallons of water. Who here, I know I'm guilty of this, who here puts way too much dish soap? Yeah, and that's something that I always have to think about because I'm like, oh, who used all the dish liquid soap? And then it's usually me. Yeah, that is great. That's actually a great tool. Okay, so we're filling it up with water and dish soap. Next step, let's see, Alan, can you read that for me?
Wash dishes with a brush or sponge and soapy water.
Perfect. Can I have a raise of hands? Who likes a brush and raise your hand if you prefer the brush. Raise your hands if you prefer sponge. Okay, we're maybe a little more on the sponge side. Yes.
There's also like this, it's kind of shaped like a rock, but it's kind of made out of metal. It's not this scratchy.
Yeah, that's true. That's another. Did you hear? Boys, did you get to hear what Layla said? There's also the like a Brillo pad almost that you can use, like a metal, and that helps too. Okay, so we've got fill, wash. Who can tell me, Madison, can you read me rinse?
Spray or plastic run clean warm water over the soapy dishes, utensils to remove soap bubbles.
Excellent. Now, Madison, why would we need to get those bubbles off? Right. What happens if you eat soap?
You'll get like very, very sick.
Yeah, it doesn't taste good, could upset your stomach, all of those things. So when you're doing dishes, it's really important to get all those soap bubbles off, right? Yes.
Before you wash dishes, if there's like trash in my mouth,
Ooh, listen. Oh my goodness. So I love it. We did the fill, wash, rinse, dry. Now Maeve over here is thinking ahead for the 5-step dishwashing process. So for the 5-step dishwashing process, the only difference is there's a prep right there. Now for the prep, that's where you scrape off the food into the trash. Okay? So, yeah, it's true.
It's also gonna get in the sink. And
I mean, you also can put like a plug thing.
Yeah.
Right.
So if there's no plug, then especially it'll get clogged.
Yeah, no, it's true. We're gonna do a little experiment today though, because sometimes what happens is, and again, I'm guilty of this, my kids are guilty of this. Oh, Mom, I'm having breakfast, blah, 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 rushing. I take my dish right into the sink, the next one into the sink, and look what we have here. So we're gonna try an experiment today where we're gonna try a 4-step dishwashing and a 5-step. And we're gonna record and see how much water we use. What our water consumption is. So, yep, that's why the markers are there. And I also put like a little flat, I plugged it, but I also put like a cutting board to make sure it plugs and stays. Because what we're gonna do next is I'm gonna put you into dishwashing groups, okay? Now these are really dirty dishes. We've got cabbage, we've got chocolate, we've got a bunch of different things on there.
Cherries?
No cherries, because I know you are allergic to cherries. We have no peanut allergies in there in this classroom, I checked. So you're gonna work in little teams. You're gonna wash the dishes with one of the two strategies. You're gonna record and tell me how many gallons of water you used to wash your dishes, okay? And then what you're gonna do is you're going to record it up here on this sheet. So in the back, next to Nate, this is the red sink. We have the orange sink. We have the blue sink and the green sink, okay? I have sink assignments here. So for the red sink, we have Layla, Nate, Ayan, and Matthias. You're gonna be on red sink. Orange sink, we have Maeve, Sonia, Harini, and Alan, your orange sink. We have green sink, 3 people here is gonna be Vivian, Sophia, and Dax. You're over here. And then we've got Madison, Grace, and Eric are gonna be at the blue sink up there, okay? So let me explain how this is going to work. The green sink over here and the blue sink are gonna use that 4-step process, okay? 4-step process, okay? The 5-step process is going to be, oh, I'm sorry. A 5-step process is going to be green and blue. Sorry, I swapped it. So you're gonna be my scrapers, that's the difference. And you're gonna prep the dishes. The other teams, which is this sink and this sink, you're just gonna put them, we're gonna put them right into the sink and you're gonna wash from that point on. Okay? Now, one of the things is you can't drain the sink, okay? I'm gonna watch if it gets too high, it gets that 20 gallon mark, I am gonna drain it, we're gonna start over again to see if you go over 20 gallons, okay? All right? And these are the steps here. So one thing, if you need to look at the steps again, step 1, you're gonna find your sink assignments, and we're gonna follow the dishwashing instructions. In your drying rack, it tells you which strategy. So what are these strategies? How many steps are you guys doing here? 4 and 4. How many steps are these 2 sinks doing? 5 steps. Yep. Okay. Step 2, each student will rotate through one position. So tell me what that means. We're gonna do a scenario and role play. Layla, can I have you over here? Nate, Ayan, and Matthias, okay? Layla starts. Layla takes the first dish. She's got this lovely dish here. She puts it into the sink and she starts filling the sink with her soap and water. And she sits, you're gonna start the scrubbing. Next, we're gonna have Nate, you're coming over here. And this is your dish. Okay, once she's washed, she puts in the drying rack and you move on through the rotation. Then you dry your dish, okay? And then the next person goes, kind of like that. All right? Any questions? Once you're finished, I need to see how many gallons of water you have and take a seat. Okay? All right, so this is about a 5 to 7 minute activity. Find your sink assignments. And there's a knife there's a butter knife that you can use to scrape. Okay? So if you need to scrape the food, see the butter knife? You can do right there on the edge there. There's your fishes. Good. There's a butter knife to scrape. All right, and then you need to dry it. Yep, you can use the sponge too, and then you'll come over here, Layla, and you'll dry. Just like this. You can use one towel. Yep.
Are they pre-filling or are they running?
We're running. Yeah.
Running.
I know. Normally you fill, but yeah. Okay, and then you come around and the next person goes. Yeah, make sure I'm inspecting. Make sure you get all that soap off. There's gloves for anybody who needs rubber gloves. Yep, and then you come around and you dry it. Here's a drying towel. Perfect. What is in there? What do you think? everything. Good. How are you doing, Grace? Yeah. Try and get as much as you can on. Is it the holding the water? Because that thing it keeps okay.
First plate, guys.
Yeah, you can put the whole thing in, the whole thing in. It's okay. Yeah. I like that you're working together. You're giving each other tips and hints and things. Okay. Yeah, I know. Oh yeah, that's a little greasy to me. How's everybody doing this corner? Okay, let me make sure. Hold on, let's see. Is this quite okay? Yeah. Oh, you guys, right on the side once you're done. Yeah, they film. Yeah. Yeah. Remember, it's all going to be on this side. All on this side, so I can see exactly how much you use. Yeah. Yep, go all the way through. So you might have to do that last dish too. Smart to use gloves, Nate. Smart to use gloves. Don't forget too, there's gloves here. You might want gloves for that last dish. Good job. There's gloves. You are brave, Ellen. Very brave. There you go. That looks like a little bit of tomato sauce. This is what I make for my daughters for dinner. Just kidding. It's tomato sauce. It's got like peanut butter in there. All right. And Sonia, you might have to get some pointers or tips. You inspect on this side. Make sure it's not This is orange sink.
What?
Orange sink. Yeah. You're right. Yeah, but that's try drying it a little bit. How are you doing here? Here, grab some gloves. Who's going to attempt this one? Okay. Nobody wants that last dish. What was that? Yeah, yep, I'm going to bring them on this afternoon. You've been holding the water? Did you guys finish? Okay, perfect. Now what I want you to do, how many gallons do you think you use? 5. Okay. So somebody should go record on your dry and you can record. All right. How are we doing over here? I'm looking at your gallon markers to see. All right, you might want to set that hot water on. Keep it on. Wow, do you want the tea? So brave. Do you want gloves? You're good? Okay. Maybe extra. Great, you finished? Let's see, so where do you think you're at? Let's put these bubbles away. Where do you think you're at for? You're at 5 gallons? Okay, record over there, tell me, and then you guys can take a seat, and maybe if you could throw the dish towels into the washing machine, that would be great. Thank you. Ellen, it looks like you guys are maybe at 5 point, a little over the 5, see that's the 5 gallon mark here, so I would put 5.5. Yeah. Okay, and then you can take a seat. Good job, orange team. All right, so we've got 5. You can throw those to my mouse and use the washing machine, and you can take a seat. No, you can leave it. You can leave it. All right, we've got 2 teams that are done. How are you guys doing? You're doing really well. Okay. Excellent. All right. I still see bubbles on the back of that. You might want to add a little bit more water and rinse the back too. Okay? All right. Nice. Green team is almost done. Green team, I need you to record how many gallons you're up to. 4 gallons. Okay. You lost the spoon? Who likes doing that? Reaching into a dirty sink to find stuff. Ooh. Yeah. Now, can anyone tell me, would you ever put knives into a sink full of water? No. Why? Why do you think? Right. Yeah. So you always put the knives kind of on the side and wash those separately. You just keep it running. Interesting. Okay, perfect. 1 or 2? Are you below the 2?
Yeah, we're below, so it's like
Perfect. Okay, write that down. And then Miss Sophia and Vivian, if you could throw those dish towels into the washing machine. And
Wait, what did you write down?
What? No, we did
5?
1.8.
Wait, what are we?
how's my red team doing?
It didn't really
You're over 5? What do you say? You guys? Yeah, I'd say maybe you can say 5.6. All right.
That's 2 gallons. No, it's not. Look.
The 2 gallon mark is up top, so Dax, I think you're right, about 1.6, 1.7 around there.
Yeah, it's not.
Yeah.
I have to wash my hands.
So you can write that.
Are we gonna drain the sink too?
Yeah, wait, Miss Morilla, can I see
Okay, perfect. And I just need my red team to record. Somebody from the red team come up and write your.
That, look at Richard here. They've already recorded the gallons, so let's record them.
Okay.
We did it at 1.8.
Perfect. I think we got our last team to record. And you can keep the water in the sink, Vivian and Dax. It's okay. Are you still watching something?
No.
Oh, okay.
They both say 5.6 gallons.
You can leave that right in there. That's okay. That was just to plug it.
5.
All right. So let's come back together as a class and let's take a look at the results on here. All right, so we're going to start with the red team. The red team over here, there was some brave souls, Matias cleaning that really dirty dish. We were at 5.5 gallons over here, okay? Next, very similarly, the orange team here, what were you guys at?
5.5.
5.5, okay. Then we've got the blue team here. You were at 5, okay. And then our green team came in around 1 3/4 or, what was it? 1.7, 1.75 kind of, which that equals 1 3/4. Good, okay. So what do you think we've learned about water consumption and how you do dishes? Yes.
You can probably prep, fill up the water and wash the dishes in that water before you use more water. And You could also like reuse the sponges and what's it called? The things before you do like other stuff.
Yeah, I love that. So did you hear Layla say, she used the word prep, there was prep involved. Things weren't just thrown in, it was thought through, maybe scrapes or getting everything ready, filling the basin. Not everybody filled right away, but that was one of the steps that actually helps. Raise your hand. I didn't bake on these, but sometimes, you know, when you're maybe making lasagna or something, or a meatloaf, and maybe there's stuff gunk on the bottom. What's a step where you could do for that?
You could use that, what's it called, those metal scrubbers.
Yeah?
And you could scrape all of that off, or you could use the scratchy side of the sponge and try to
Scrape some of that off. Yeah, has anyone ever, what happens sometimes, like, do you ever see your parents where they're like, oh, let's let that sit overnight. What is that called? You know, when you let, you put some water in it and you let it sit overnight. Soak, very good. So soak. So sometimes you might soak a dish in preparation as well. Any other strategies that help with water consumption? Vivian.
Like turn the sink off when you go to grab another dish, because if you leave it on, it's gonna get higher and higher and you're gonna use more water.
Right, so the prep part is really important, the scrubbing part. You can fill your sink basin up, you can put everything in and kind of scrub everything and then rinse it all at the same time. That's a strategy there. Yes, Maeve.
I am begging you to please empty your trash off your plate before you wash your dishes.
Oh, that sounds like something, you're speaking from experience, Maeve. Do you think it's gross having a bunch of stuff floating in the...
It smells so bad.
Especially think about after a big meal, maybe Thanksgiving, and your dishes are piled up.
It smells terrible.
That's
trust me.
I have to
It
wash
smells
dishes
awful.
after Thanksgiving.
Yes, and there you definitely want to scrape, because often you're eating a big meal with your family, everybody sits around and everything is sitting on the plate for a while and starts sticking. So working on that prep and everything will actually help you conserve water and save time and sometimes energy too. Yes?
One of my biggest chores, and I don't have to do this after like 2 months, is I have to do the dishes after Thanksgiving dinner. So a lot of people from my family like to leave their food on their plates. So my cousin left like a turkey leg on the plate. So I like, this might sound rude, but he always does this. I chucked it at him and told him throw it out.
Oh no. Well, maybe chucking might not be the best thing, but telling him maybe to scrape his plate is helpful. Now, so we're talking leading up to Earth Day. We're really going to try and focus a little bit on water consumption. And one thing that I'd love to do tomorrow is maybe we can write some of these strategies out and think of, we're going to create some posters for this room on maybe how we can conserve water, maybe in the facts room, maybe out in the hallways. If we start thinking and being mindful of how much water we use, why do you think that's important? Why is that important in your life as a preteen, thinking about how much water you use? Vivian?
So that the generations when we're adults and also when we have kids, it's not hard for us to get water.
Exact, fresh water is so important for life, right? And we're so fortunate in this country, but it's in other countries, people have to carry water, right? When they need to use it. So we're going to talk about more of this tomorrow. And I want to thank everybody. Give yourself a round of applause. You did a great job washing the dishes. And don't worry, Ms. Maratti and Mr. Brown, this group did some gorgeous cookie, they did these sculptures. And I'm going to take a photo of each and you're going to tell me what it says about yourself, okay? You're going to eat them this afternoon and we're going to discuss them tomorrow while we're making our water conservation posters. Sound like a plan? All right. Yes, after lunch. I spoke to Mrs. Alardi and she said I could bring them over to your class. Sound like a plan? Yeah, she said after. Yes. Okay. All right. Have a great day. I will see you mañana.
Good job, everybody.
Okay. Bye. Oh, good. That's good. I know. It's good to those little reminders, right, Layla?
What?
Especially when during the holidays, right? When you have so many dishes.
Yeah.
Good job.
I know. Hardest part, I feel like it's all the moving parts of the logistics, you know?
Hey, you pulled it off.
But they, you know, one part of it too is the fill part. I feel like something forgot to do the fill part.
Yeah, I mean, some were just running, but it could
Yeah.
be, I'm looking at it really.
Okay.
But, I'd love to talk about it.
Yeah, sounds good. Okay, thank you.
All right, no, thank you.
All right, have a good rest of
All
your
right.
day. Oh, here's your,
Did I leave something? Yeah,
Yeah.
here we go.
yeah,
Classic.
you need to have somebody in some great
Oh my gosh,
quality.
and I saw you in here on those cookies last night because I left at like 10 of 10 last
Oh,
night. I
yeah.
walked through and I looked in and
I
there you
know.
were right over here.
I know,
I'm like,
oh my gosh. I know, I like night owl, which
Yeah.
is not always so good. Okay.
Yeah, I got you. That was good.
All right, thank you, see you.